Hi, Tabio. So thanks for watching my channel, following my channel. Today we're discussing the most hot geopolitical subject, which is the Palestine versus Israel, basically. Well, where do you stand? Saying watching as a neutral person with an ethical and moral standard. Let's say you forget you're Muslim or Jew. First, forget you are Arab or anyone else, X, Y, Z. You're just neutral. Well, let's study this subject as in a non-biased view, right? So, studying Judaism as a religion was the Old Testament. Then we got Christians, we got the Bible, and then we got the Quran. They're all the same religion, and they follow the monotheist Abrahamic religion. So the God, uh, obviously the God, you can say Moses' God, promised the land of Israel, which is Palestine, to these people, and Israelites, the Bani Israel, they were sent to exile and they lost their land. Palestinian, 5,000 years ago, Palestine was a seagoing nation and they invaded a land of the Jewish and they kicked them out. There was a famous story of David and Goliath. Goliath is a Palestinian giant, and David has a slingshot, and they had hit his head, and basically he dropped dead. And there was some battles between Palestinian and Jewish or the Israelites mentioned in Bible and other stories, right? So they were persecuted, they were sent to exile, and Palestinians take over the land 5,000 years ago. This is the history, Chronicles, and Bible, and a lot of Old Testament and the other studies. They suggest. Obviously, this story can be fabricated as well because all these books are written by men. That's a fact, right? So a lot of people have in different governments, they have manipulated the transcript and they have written a lot of things such as slavery. I mean, Bible says slavery is all right, or it's not all right, isn't it? Bible has incited violence against people as well in Jericho, and I guess which is not meeting today's standard. But even today, 2025, for the American president and all these politicians, they emphasize, they link, they quote Bible on it. But so we have Jews, they went to exile, they came back. Fast forward, we have crusade in between, the Muslim conquest of Holy Land. There were 7 crusades, 1 to 9 million people died. And they were brought, and the Muslims conquered. Then we King Richard in between conquered, but they killed a lot of Muslims. There was genocide. And fast forward again, we got the World War II, World War One, right? Ottoman has taken this land. Ottoman Turks has taken this land, and we have after that we have Hitler. Hitler has a genocide against the Jews, which has created a lot of Jewish sympathizers. So Palestine was part of the Ottoman Empire, and it's been divided, different Arab countries, and Palestine was a separate country. So a lot of Jewish start moving to Palestine as refugees. Palestine was a Soviet country, free country. This is fast forward 5,000 years. And we have Balfour Agreement, and there were in between, there were some conspiracy theorists waiting for the Messiah to come in, and they were expecting this place, we call it Antichrist or Dajjal, this place where the Messiah will turn up, so a big problem really. All these conspiracy theories and religious theories, they're causing a lot of bloodshed. So 1 to 9 million people died in there, in crusades because of the Holy Land. And then we have Hitler killing a lot of Jews, anti-Semite. Hitler has killed a lot of Jews. Then Palestinian and Israelis, they went to civil war. And then we have Arab-Israel war, a lot of people died again. So we have a state of Israel now. So, but having said that, these are not the Jewish people, they are Zionists. Zionists are different. It's a different branch of Judaism, right? So only 25% of the Jewish population are living in Israel, and they are Zionist. So the extreme ultra-Orthodox Jewish, the different branches of Jewish people as well, different branches of Christian, different branches of Muslim. To put this in perspective, let's say Taliban. Well, Taliban are not, they do not represent all the Muslims, obviously. let's say British Muslims and and you put them in a one room, one Talib and one British Muslim, and you check their theology and school of thoughts, right? So you'll be like bashing your head. Obviously, Taliban, they're very ultra and progressive, and British Muslims, they're very educated and they're part of British culture. So we have a problem now. So they said, well, we kicked all the Palestinians. This is our holy land, promised by the God, by Moses, by other holy books, and we will take this. Zionists said that. But then the other Jewish, which are non-Zionists, they say, well, this is the wrong theory, because according to the Old Testament, the Jewish nation should never have a land. It's a curse from the God, and they should be living in exile as a refugees, like gypsy, like left in different countries. They said by the non-Zionist Jews, right? So anyway, we have all these people living in, and they're taking over the country. And this, as a non-Muslim, a neutral, a biased, I think that philosophy is quite wrong. Something happened 5,000 years ago, and there was no nationalism, and nations were not created by then. And then you went to exile after 5,000 years. You're coming back to claim it, which doesn't make any sense. There is no common sense, right? It's reject it, bullshit. Right. So let's say why the West is supporting them then. Well, if this theory is wrong, the freedom fighters, the Hamas and all that, they're terrorist groups, right? Well, IRA was a terrorist group, Irish Republican Army. They have their country, isn't it? South Africa, Robert Mugabe, all these, Mandela, he was a terrorist as well. So they were fighting for their cause. They want their country back. But anyway, Israel has taken over, and they stayed, and all the multinational companies, Israel is quite rich and powerful in technology as well. Get a lot of help from United States and other countries. So why they are helping them if they are wrong? Now think about the Jewish perspective, right? So let's say Arabs have taken over the land, and they won the crusade, or they didn't lost in World War One, which is the Turkish time, right? And they will still have it. So the Turkish, they never kicked them out, the Jewish. They left it as it is, the Christian, Muslim, and Turkish, and the Jewish, they were allowed to worship. So ethically and morally, they were all right. They probably asked for more taxes, but they never kicked them out. If the Arabs have won it, then I think they wouldn't do it either, because the history suggests that the Muslim conqueror, Saladin Ayyubi, he never gone for a genocide. It's given them amnesty, right? So basically, the Jewish are wrong on it in bloodshed, right? So I don't, as a neutral person, I can't figure out who's right. Well, I think the Israel is wrong on this subject. I'm not a big fan of Arabs and violence and all that, but I think the Israel is wrong on that. Let's say Australia was discovered by Thomas Cook, and Aboriginal people lived there, right? 300 years ago. Now should we kicked out all these white people from Australia and give it back to the native indigenous people, Aborigines? Let's say New Zealand was discovered by explorer. Kick all the people, give it to the native and kick them out. You know what I mean? So this is just 200 years ago, not 5,000 years ago. America was discovered by Christopher Columbus, so give it to native Indians, right? And kick all the white people back to Europe. I mean, this can go on and on. There's so many examples. But the question goes back again, why the West and other countries do support these Israelis? Because the donations are coming from the Israel and Jewish, they're powerful people, bankers and all the multinational companies, and they're theocratic, theocratic democracy, like Iran is theocratic. Iran is a dictatorship. But they are theocratic democracy, and they share value. And Arabs and non-Muslim, they never progressed in democracy, and they don't even believe in democracy. So the democracy is supporting the democracy, and the gerrymongering and the lobbying and the money donations coming. A lot of Jewish business people, they control the lobbies in the West, which is UK and United States, especially United States. So a lot of help. And the oil, this region is oil rich, and they get a lot of help from the United States, because as a bullying nation, they have to control the supply of oil, so they don't get blackmailed over oil. So I think this is a nutshell my views over this subject, and wrong is wrong. So we still a lot of bloodshed. But let's see, let me know what you think about all this subject, and where do you in this is.